Alright guys, so quick update here. The pods are in. I just have the one bolt that I drilled through the side. I showed you guys that previously with some blue Loctite, so it'll hold it, but it'll also break if I need it to. And then gone ahead and got the halo, the adhesive pulled off the back, but I don't have it pressed in yet. Went ahead and ran, if you can see it there, all of my spots of the beading wire. So definitely with the ram, I'll even come around the back and show you. So all that adhesive is showing, that is not going to stick to anything. So you definitely want the beading wire if you have the ram. And then it just pops through the back here, and all you'll do is, just like any other twist tie, it is metal underneath this coating. So like bread twist tie or anything, just twist it tight and then it'll pull the halo in tight. So we'll go ahead and do that and I'll show you the finished product. Alright, so the beading wire is pulled tight, and you can see there's actually one right there. What I tried to do was actually drill the holes underneath the halo. So then the goal was to have them all look like that, so that when you're facing it you don't even see the holes you drilled, and it's pretty much completely non-existent. But it is tight, it's not going anywhere at all, and that one's on. So just do the same thing to the other side, and then we are ready to start putting the projectors in. Okay, so we're moving into mounting the projectors. So for the projectors and the shrouds, you can just use, some people use silicone. I'm using a JD Weld quick set 2-part epoxy, just to be extra sure the shroud never comes off. A little bit of sandpaper, this is just 320. You're going to want to rough up just the inside here, and then you'll obviously put the epoxy on the ring. So this is what you're going to get with the projector. So it's going to come set up here. You're going to get this rubber bushing and then these two plates. You don't have to use everything. All I'm using is these. I'm not using this. This is going to depend on your headlight setup. So as you can see here, the rubber bushing that will go on the inside, and then the rest of this is going to go on the outside. If you had to buy a bi-xenon harness that I had to do to use for a high beam, make sure that before you run your projector through, you do not plug the projector and the harness in together. If you use, these are the JDM iToy, whatever they are, I believe they are, and once they plugged in, I could not unplug them to save my life. They were also really hard to get together, so I had to cut the wires. So now the harness and the projector is going to have to be connected. So what we're going to do now is get the projector in. Make sure when you put the projector in, so looking at it here, you want the mechanism and the flap for the high beam on the bottom. So make sure before you tighten this down, because this nut is just a soft aluminum, and when you fully torque it down, it's going to kind of mold around, so the projector stays tight and it doesn't come loose, or you have to worry about using like any lock thread or anything like that. So make sure before you finally torque that down that it is perfectly level. So we're going to do that now. Okay guys, so projectors, you saw my last clip. The projectors are mounted. I had to go ahead and sand down just a little bit more. I was having a rubbing issue. But the projectors are in, they're JB welded, they're not coming off, tightened all the way in the back, and they are into their housing. So what the goal is now, I have everything laid out. You can see here, those are just my fog lights, so those don't matter. But this top one is the demonized wiring. These are the halo wiring. I have the 9005 harness already plugged into the regular light bulb harnesses for the bi-xenons. So this is going to tie into the power, the positive and the negative for the flap on the projectors, and then those are my HIDs. So the goal tonight is, before I seal up anything, I want to get all of this wired to the truck, get the HIDs in the projectors, make sure the HIDs work and all that, make sure I have no issues before I put the front plastics onto the housing and seal everything back up. So what we gotta do is, obviously, to get the headlight off, you have to take the grill off. If you don't know how to do that, I will leave a link up in the corner for my previous video on how I took the grill out, which will also talk about how I took the headlights out. I'm trying to, I've mentioned this before, trying to save as much time as possible, and it's cold outside, so my battery's gonna die. So I will touch base with you guys in the next step. Did want to mention, before you do anything with wiring, obviously make sure you disconnect the negative or the positive terminal. Doesn't matter, just don't have any power going to your battery when you're messing with wires. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys here. This is the positive and the negative that runs from the projector, and then I had to go ahead and butt shrink the 9005 harness. So this is plugged into my high beam switch. There's the low beam, and then the harness that actually plugs into the large harness into the truck. So as I mentioned before, do not plug in the harness into the projector before you run the plug through, because it won't fit, and then I could not get these unplugged to save my life. So just update here, guys, that's what is on there. So we're going to get these into the truck now and hook up the HIDs now that I have the harness hooked up, and start running some wires. Okay, so we're kind of skipping ahead here. I had an issue with the wiring, which I will touch on, and I will show you how I wired everything in a little bit when I go outside. But right now I'm going to be putting the headlights back together. So I had the oven preheating to 230. I have clips here. Some people were saying that the clips don't work very well with the way that the Ram headlights are set up, so I do have toe straps as well, which you would obviously just wrap around the headlight and pull them tight. Have the butyl here, and so what you're going to want to do is, if you have like a compressed air, which I do not have, go ahead and spray it out. Take a microfiber, which I have around here somewhere, wipe the projector lens off, make sure everything is spotless and ready to go. Because obviously once you seal them back up, the plan is to never have to open them back up. So I'm going to get the headlight cleaned off, make sure all dust, debris, anything is out, and then get the butyl laid in, which I will show you what that looks like, and we'll get the headlight in the oven. Alright guys, so just a quick update with the headlights. I did 230 for 7 minutes with no lens on, just to heat up the butyl and everything. And it was soft enough to get the lens fitted around, and it softened up the plastic lip around the edge, because this plastic is really tough, and the lip, or the lens, actually sits up underneath of it. It just doesn't sit on top of it. So I have the lens on now, and then I've put it in for, we're going to go 10 minutes at 230, and that should soften up the glue enough to where I can get the lens completely pressed together, get the clips clipped in, because with the 7 minutes at 230, it wasn't, the glue wasn't soft enough for me to get the clips latched. So the lens is on, but it's not latched. So after this 10 minutes, I should be able to fully press it together, clip it, and then strap it down. And then we'll move on to the next one. I will show you guys what it looks like when it's out. Alright, so this headlight is done. As you can see, I just ran a strap around and cranked on it. Word to the wise that I kind of learned here, don't be excessive on the glue. On spots where there's already glue, don't add more. I'm having that issue here. I cannot get that clip. I mean, I'm cranking with a ratchet strap. I can't get that clip to latch because I think it's so packed full of butyl. Other than that, like that bottom one. That bottom one's in. The rubber is just a little soft right now. These are good, these are good. So, we're going to leave that strapped to cool. And then I also have, just to be extra safe, because I don't want any leaks, I also have just some window door trim sealant. It's black. Once it all cools down, I'm going to go ahead and run a bead all the way around the whole edge of it and seal it up with more sealant just to be safe. Personal preference, you probably don't have to do that, but I'd rather be safe than sorry and get something that leaks in the headlights. So that is basically the completed thing there, guys. So what we're going to see next is I'm going to take you outside, show you how I have the relay wired and everything, and then we'll get into wiring the halos and the demon eyes. Alright guys, so here is the absolute finished product. I got the straps off, and then what I went ahead and did, just to be on the safe side, is I ran the black caulk all the way around the edge of the headlight. They are both done. So now while this caulk dries, I want to go ahead and get all my wiring and everything done for the halos and the demon eyes. We're going to hop outside. I got to pull the truck in the garage, and I will show you how I ran the relay harness. Okay, so we're out in the truck here. Again, as per usual, it's negative temperatures. So I'm going to try and get as much in as I can without my camera dying. So here is the relay harness right here. There's actually this nice little metal lip that I just ran a zip tie through. Zip tied it there. Here's the capacitor that is zip tied. And then the ballast is mounted just directly to that flat piece of metal right there. And then here is where the power wire for the harness is hooked up to the positive and the negative of the battery. I recommend this. This gave me trouble. I hooked everything up, powered on the lights, would not power on. What I had here was the quick splice connectors. That's what I saw from a previous video. He used quick splice connectors, and apparently mine didn't work. It was literally these two wires right here holding me back from the HIDs working, and I had hours trying to figure it out. So I definitely recommend a hard wire here. So, and then there is a positive and a negative wire that runs off. I ran it underneath here. Comes up right here. The negative is grounded, and then obviously the positive with the fuse is on the battery. And then all I did is I already had some wiring right here, so I just tucked it up, zip tied every so often, real nice and neat. There's the capacitor that is zip tied off right there, and then this ballast is right here because I don't have a flat spot on the other side. So then all I have to do is obviously just plug in the wires for the HIDs, and the plug for the HIDs are right there. So that is the relay. Basically what I have to do now is the demon eye wiring and the halo ring wiring. Luckily it is all plug and play. I won't have to cut or wire anything. Basically just need to replicate what you did here. You're just going to be running and tucking wires. Once I figure out how I'm going to do that, I will show you what I ended up coming up with. Alright guys, so a quick update. I fully have the halo wiring done. So I'll show you what that looks like. You have the Bluetooth controller box right here that is just stuck with double-sided adhesive, which then runs down. And I have all of the RGB plugs. It comes with extra plugs. I only need 2 of them. I have them all zip tied in right here, which then is plugged and runs down to the box right here that I have double-sided adhesive to the opposite side of the frame rail. And then this is the actual halo plug. And then I've just followed the same path, and I'm going to continue to do that. So I just have it ran over here. A little bit of extra wire zip tied off right there with the rest of the wiring. I popped out that tab right there. Pop that tab out. Pop that tab holding this plug in, so I could run the box through there, which is double-sided adhesive, just like the other side. So that one's super smooth. That is for the halos, and then I'm literally just going to, it's a little bit different, so I'll show you the end product. But now I just have to take the demon eye wiring and do the exact same thing, try and find a place to hide it, get it all wired up. We'll check back with you guys in a little bit. Alright guys, so it's another late night here, but we are basically coming to the end. I tried to install the switchbacks. The switchbacks worked with the resistor, as in they didn't hyperflash, but then my turn signals were hyper flashing. So I said screw it. I just cut the cable so there wasn't any power running to the resistors, and I just put the bulbs back in. But I have the Demon Eyes done. So right there is the Demon Eyes box, and then I touched on before that right there is the Halos box. So then everything is wired up. I have all the positives tied in. I'm going to clean this up. That was basically just put like that to make sure that everything was getting power. But everything's grounded off. I got to zip tie the Demon Eye wires still here. I got to clean it up a little bit. I'm also running HID fogs. Those are done. Those are in. They work. We're good to go. So what pretty much is last to do is just clean up the wires a little bit, and then where'd they go? So the back caps here, obviously, just on the headlight, on the old headlight, they just screw on. But now with all this wiring, basically what you have to do is drill a hole through this, so then you're still getting some coverage. So you can still screw it on. You'll just have to drill a hole for your wires to feed through. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get these holes drilled through here, get the caps on, clean the wires up, and the headlights are going in, and I will show you guys the finished product. Alright guys, so this is what you're left with. I drilled just a real small hole for my pod to come through, and then just a big enough hole for everything to fit through. You can always take like a sealant. I'm trying to get that to pull through, but once you get it set, you can always take like a sealant or like a caulk and just kind of caulk that, fill that up. And then the low beam harness, which I'll show you here, where it twists on, you'll still be able to twist that on because this will plug into that, and you can feed it all in there. So pretty much the only one you're gonna have to worry about is just these two little holes now, and then obviously the turn signal goes on. So let's get this headlight in, see what it looks like. Alright, so we're hopping inside here. I just wanted to show you what I was talking about. So I went ahead and just took some black caulk. It doesn't need to be pretty. No one's obviously going to see this. And I just globbed it all up to seal up the hole. Did the same on both sides. Turn signal goes there, so that's not going to be a problem. And then there's a couple companies that make little rubber seals, dust covers, whatever you want to call them. And they're real stretchy and flexible. So be able to stretch around this, and then it'll cover up this hole. So that's what I'm going to do. I know I still have to wire up my pod. It's going to be warmer this weekend, so I'm probably going to do it this weekend. That's not a concern to me. That's just going to be, obviously, you've seen how I wired all this. Run the positive, run the negative, and it's done. So, enough of me talking. Let's cut to the headlight montage right now. So here is the finished product. I just have them flashing right now. Obviously it's harder to see during the day, and the camera's not picking up the color as well. The Demon Eyes are on too. They're just on blue right now. So this is basically what the app looks like. So you're gonna get a color wheel, and then you can save like custom ones. So blue, red, green, white, and then obviously I can roll anywhere in between. Pretty sweet. And then there's a disco thing and different functions. So like they'll flash to music, stuff like that. But yeah, it's really cold and it's really windy, so I apologize for the wind noise. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of montage tonight when it's dark out so you can see it better. But that's it for right now. Let me know what you think. Alright guys, so that is the video and the finished headlight build. I'm leaving them on so you can see lights are flashing. That is the finished headlight build. The demon eyes are on, they're just not very bright. But yeah guys, let me know what you think. If you liked the video, thumbs up, subscribe. Lots of videos to come now with the build finally coming together. So until next time, peace.